All right, welcome back, everybody. Watercolor Tuesday. I was just doing a little bit of cleaning up here. So, hope you're all having a fantastic day. It's a gorgeous day here in Ontario, Canada. And I thought I would show you one of my gladiolas. And these are a different type of gladiola. They are actually a perennial. So I don't have to dig up the chromes or bulbs, whatever you want to call them. And they multiply every year and bloom around this time of year, maybe a little earlier, depending on how hot it gets. And last week we did this page. I really love this page. This was really fun to do. And it's the, I guess you could call it draw my day. I'm always lost with words as far as this type of journaling. Draw my day, daily journaling, commonplace journal, some people call it. There's many names for this, but you basically take your the things that you did on a certain day you want to document. You write them down on a blank piece of paper, and then each subject that you put down on your paper, you start to put a line out and write what was associated with. Now, with me, coffee, what was associated with coffee? So it was, I always have it out on the back deck with my dogs. What was the flower pots? Or no rain. Well, so what was associated with no rain? The flowers got dry. That type of thing. So it's kind of like mind mapping, but for your day. So you can figure out what to draw, basically. And then on Thursday, I did a painting, an acrylic painting, and there's a traceable for this. And this was the farm girl holding a bouquet of wild daisies, some bales, or whatever you want to call those hail round things they have now. Very simple, easy to do. There's a downloadable traceable for members. So if you want to become a member, just check out the links below in the description of this video, and you'll find some links that you can go there and find out more about that. I can show you what budding artists did for this month's lesson in the membership. We did a mixed media painting. Where did I put it? Yeah. And there is a traceable for this also. And we use stencils and different types of paint, and it was fun. And it was fairly quick to do, and the video is already up in both the comment section in YouTube membership, the community page, or on the Patreon. It's already up there too if you prefer Patreon. So let's get to this. And I'm going to draw it. So this is I picked one. So this is my gladiola. So it's a different type. It's not exactly the same as what you typically associate gladiolas to look like. It's a little different. I love them. I think they're gorgeous. I haven't seen them in any other color than this color, but I love the flares of purple in the throat. And they get fairly big, fairly tall. I would say about 2.5 feet tall, probably, the bloom on it. And this one was almost done, so I just picked it. But these ones are a little different because they actually will branch out and have more than one stalk. And they come up every year, so you don't have to fuss with them. So this is what we're going to be drawing today. How am I going to do this? I think I'll put the paints aside for now. And I'm going to put this here. Can you see that well enough? I think should be able to. And you can draw that if you want to follow along. And I'm just going to go across my whole page here. So right now I'm going to just put a line in for the center stem, basically. So let's see, it kind of goes up and down, and then comes up like that. And then this is fairly thick, and there is a group of leaves kind of connected to the stem. So I can draw that. Like something like that. And then the stem, it's fairly thick. They're fairly sturdy, the stems. And then the next flower, they're alternating from each other, and the next flower is halfway up on the opposite side, if that makes sense. So see, this would have been a flower, then that's a flower, then this is a flower. So this one, it's about here, I guess, and it comes up. This one is already spent. But I'm going to put it in anyways. Let's see, and it kind of, I like how the leafy parts kind of enclose the old petals. So I guess if there's any seeds, that's where they would be, down in there. And this sticks out. It's fairly big. I might not put all, maybe I'll make it a little smaller. That one comes like that. And then let's do this one here just to show that they alternate, but I only see a bit of it. And spent flowers kind of go off here. And then we're going to draw these two. So this one's up front. So let's see. It's going to be right about here. It's fairly big. This is the biggest one. And I guess it would go in this area about here. Hey, Pam. So I can take that stem out where the flower's overlapping it. I'm not going to draw this one. I could actually just take that one out. This is just a spent flower, just so that it's a little easier for you. We can draw the leafy part later. So we have, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flowers, 6 petals. So 2, 3, 6, yeah, 6 petals. So this one here, let's draw the stamens first. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's really different. It's got 3 little ruffles. It's interesting. And then the something like that. And then this first petal I'm going to put in is the one that's over top of the other ones behind it. And they kind of curl down. We'll see. Like that. And then this one here, about there, the next one I see. This one, actually, this one in here shows it's a thinner one. And then that next one is underneath it, but this one, so that would be about there to here. I'm just kind of marking how wide it would be. And then this one is kind of another one that overlaps. And then it kind of folds down a little bit. It's kind of ruffled like that. Now I can put these in because they're behind it. This one kind of overlaps that other one that I haven't drawn yet. And then this one like that. So the ends are kind of, you can't really see the tip because it's curled. Like this. That. It almost looks like a lily. Okay. And then the flares of that purple are in here. And in this one, and a little bit on here. I actually see the curl a little bit on that one. I don't see any purple in this one. Down in the throat, it's almost red. Like a burgundy color down in there. All right, and then this, there's one underneath here, and it's kind of hiding underneath this other one a little bit. So let's see this here. I'm probably going to have to erase this part. Just so I don't get mixed up. Then I could put it in later. Okay, so let's see. This end of this one comes out, curls around, kind of ruffles up. And then I just see the slightest bit in here. That's kind of the center in here. Then there's that one. Actually, I think it's there, more like that. And then doesn't have to be exact. And then that one kind of slides down like that. Let's see. This one comes out, and then this one overlaps. I can see the end of it. And let's see, that one. This one, I think this is too skinny. Needs to come over like that. That one goes like that. And this one goes down like that. And then this here, I just see the little bit of this petal here. So this one and this one are overlapping each other. And then I do see the stamens and 2, 3. We have 3. And then that other one is the tallest part. Kind of goes like that. That's a little bit fuzzy. Like that. All right. So just follow the shapes when you're trying to draw. And so, as you see, I use an eraser. There's nothing wrong with using an eraser. I prefer doing that. Okay, and then right in here, we have a bud. So we have the like that, and then nice long bud like that. Okay. And those leaf things right there. That one came out. So I'm not going to put this whole thing in here, but I will put those leaves that it holds the spent. There was one here, but I don't think I'll put it in. It's artistic license. I don't think it's needed. Like that. All right. Hey, Brenda. So there's our Gladiola. Now you can either put your paint on first, or you could also, if you want to use some ink pen, you can do that. It's up to you. I think what I'm going to do is going to use the watercolor first, then whatever's left past the watercolor in this pencil, I will erase that and then maybe do some inking also. Hey, Sharon. All right, so if you want to draw this, I can put this on top and you can take a screenshot. Let me bring you in. Is that good for you? Like that? Does it have to be lighter? Is that a good light? So take a screenshot of that, and then you can get the colors and you can draw it up. So I'm going to put that to the side now, or maybe even up. Well, I guess, I'll bring it back out. And let's see. I'm going to put it up here, and I'm going to put my watercolors beside it. So hopefully that's good for you. If you've taken a screenshot, you should be able to see that. So is that good for you guys? Now, I have sprayed my watercolors beforehand to get them started, and the color of this is a very unusual color. It's, if I'm looking at my swatches here, and if I look at this, it's almost a magenta, quin magenta color. And then the bright violet is this marking in there. And then there's just a tad of Scarlet Lake in there also, just a smidge. And it lightens a little bit on the inside here on the lower part. In the very, very center here, it's, I would say, alizarin crimson color streaks in there. And a little bit on the peachish side, and the stamens and that. So we're going to use Winsor Newton Quin Magenta. And I'm just going to put some here. This is going to be probably a fairly quick one, actually. Now I want to start off light. I always like working light to dark. And for this one, I think I'm going to start by wetting my paper. Now this isn't watercolor paper, but it is a fairly decent sketching paper. So you're going to have to experiment if you're working in your watercolor or sketchbooks. Okay, so let's see. This one up here, it's got a fair amount of this color in, more or less in the center. And that kind of branches out. It's a little darker on the top. And then it branches out. So I'm just taking a wet brush and just stroking a little bit more color, not much, but a little bit more color in there. And then I'm going to skip one and go in here just so that it doesn't end up bleeding into each other, because I don't want a real dark, intense magenta color where it's not belonging. And I've painted around those stamens. So a little bit more. And this one is a little bit darker. And it does have the purple in it. So just more or less tapping. Remember, this isn't watercolor paper. So you kind of have to be a little bit quick with this. This is a little bit intense there, so I'm just going to remove some of that along the sides. And just a little bit more on the tip. Like that. And then I'm going to skip another one. I'm going to wet this area. And that one is this one here. So it's a little darker in the center. And the tip is darker. So I take a brush, wipe it off. I don't have any paint on my brush right now. I'm just using water to move it. I want the sides fairly light. Okay, this one here, which is this one. So it's fairly dark on the bottom. Now I have to be a little bit careful because it's close to the other one. So you just have to pay attention to how close you go with the water and the paint. So it's fairly dark there. I'm just dabbing. And then fairly dark around there. A little bit too much. See how it's pooling? So just take a damp brush and soak it up. A little bit lighter in here. So I'm just going to remove some of this. So it's darker on the, like that. Let's try this one over here. It's got a little bit more color to it. A little bit on the darker side. And put some of that in there. This one's fairly dark, more intense. Okay, one more. It's this one here. And this one has that flare of purple in it too. So I want to just put the pink on first, or magenta, I should say. And then we'll put a little bit of that purple in. It's fairly dark too. So I'm trying to stay away from the stamens. All right, it looks pretty good. Now, before we go into another one, I'm going to dry this. So what is everyone doing today? Yeah. What's on your art table? All right, now let's do this one here. This one's got some pretty dark magenta color in here and purple. So when you're doing this, wherever you put your water, that's where your paint's going to go. It won't go past that. So that's why it's important to remember that if you've already wet an area beside it, you have to be careful not to go too close to it, because it will kind of rush into that area too. So you just have to be a little bit aware of where all your wet areas are. trying to stay away from the stamens there. These are fairly dark. A little bit in there. And it's these petals I'm doing now are a little darker than the flower above. So that gives me the contrast. Hey, Jilly, Colleen, hi. I missed you guys this morning. Is Kathy okay? Had my coffee ready and nobody there. Forced me to have to do some housework. You're still not up to par? Okay, this one is, again, a little bit dark, but there are some lighter areas. Just painting around the stamens here. So this one is, let's see, that one. This one's got also the purple in it, which we'll put on later. And remember, some of these paints dry a lot lighter than what you've put on when it's wet. It'll look lighter, so sometimes you have to go back and put another coat on. Oh, she had some appointments. Real life got in the way. Tends to do that. Unfortunately, we have to come back to reality sometimes, don't we? A little bit darker in the center here again. And then it lightens as it goes out over here. Like most flowers, they fade a little bit as they get older. And then this one's fairly light, so let's add some water. This one isn't too dark. And this one is part of this petal. And it's a little bit dark. And you can lighten areas or darken areas if you need the contrast. It's your painting. So you're allowed to change whatever you want. And let's see, that one's fairly dark, so I'm going to add more in here just to show the difference between the two petals, where they are. Okay. Hey, Flo. You can picture where I am now. Yep. I love it. So this is really dark because it's a bud and it hasn't opened yet. So it's almost more on the alizarin crimson side. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this color in, and then I'll put some darker shade in later. Like that. This one too is a spent one, so it's meaning dead. The petals are wilted. I close it up. And they kind of get a almost a tired, muddy color, I guess you could say. So we could also put a little green in that magenta just to dull it down. So we'll do that next. All right, let's dry that. Hey, Devin. All right, so now what shall we do? Let's put that purple in. So I have, what's this one called? This one's Bright Violet by Holbein. Very pretty color. It's perfect color for this. So I'm going to wet the area that I want this to be in. And it's kind of like a V almost. It doesn't go across the whole petal, just in a little bit of an area. And just tap in that color. Like that. And then, let's see, this one, let's see, that one, that one, that one, this one. just like that. And then just a smidge over here. This one's kind of faded out. Just has a little bit. Like that. And let's see. It's kind of almost feathered too. Almost looks like a feather actually. The way it is. Like that. And then these three are also fairly dark in that color. And then this one. That. Add some color. And this one. Kind of going around the stamens there. And in there. Like that. Where else? We have just a smidge of that color in here. Not much. So I'm just going to put a dab. And then right in here. It's kind of goes like that. And then a little bit of that pink. Sorry guys, that was my sister texting me. This one here has a little bit more dark in here. That. Okay. And there's a little bit of purple in here, just down the center, like that. Maybe a touch here and there, just specks there. A little bit in here at the tip. It's a little dark. And that one, this one. And then we can add a little bit to these buds. So let's put some more water on the bottom here. that. And a little bit in here. This is the spent one. So it's a little bit ratty looking. And then I'm going to get some of this, let's see, alizarin crimson. I think this is alizarin crimson. Nope, that's quin coral. What's this one? Quin red or cad red, maybe cad red. I want to dull these down. So they are darker. So I'm going to cad red to this. And to these. That. And now that cad red we can use in the center. It's really, really dark in the center. And they're kind of flared out, like let's see, that one. It's very different. And then you can add a little bit of water and just soften some of that edge a little bit, just by dabbing, so they're not so hard. I'm going to let's try this one by adding a little bit of water to it. This one's going to be, I got to figure out where my centers are in here. Like that. Have a great day, Flo. Thanks for coming. Then I need a little bit more of that alizarin crimson right in here. Okay. All right. It's coming. Let's do a little bit of the green now. It's a definite, probably Permanent Sap Green by Winsor & Newton would be a good one. Don't have a lot. Must like that one. I haven't got a lot here. But we can put it in. I'm just going to do wet into dry. And then we can always add darker areas. Just get the base coat on. And you could decide whether you want to put ink, pen ink drawing on it or not, or whatever you want to do. Up here. turn my book. So don't put my fingers in the wet areas. Okay. Yeah, looks good. So let's dry that before it leaks into the other side. All right. So these stamens, they're a little bit on, maybe on the corally side. So I have Daniel Smith here, coral. And I'm going to add a little more water to it. Doesn't have to be very potent. And I'm just going to, let's see. It's just the stems basically that are this color. And we may go back in with another color. Let's see. And then the tops are like a soft pink, almost purpley. So let's do a little bit of that with it. Water down, mix the two. And just very, very lightly, or very, very pale. I might have to do a little pen work there to bring them out. But we can just color that there. That'll work. All right. And I'm going to take a little bit of that. Let's see. Let's see what this Queen Red is. It's a nice color. That Queen Red is almost a peachy, pinky color. Because there is a bit of that color in these too. And I'm going to just more or less down in the throat. Right in there. I can go right over. It's kind of a glazing of it. A little bit in here. Just a smidge. And Let's get a little bit of a darker green. So I have this Daniel Smith Green Apatite Genuine. Put it over here. And let's put a little bit of shadow work in here. So this would be a little bit shaded on the bottom here. You can do yours however you want. If you want to use line work with your pen, you could do that too. Maybe I'll put some of that in. Darker in there. These are darker. And actually put a little bit more of that dark color. Let's see. Quin red. Let's go quin red and a little bit of that umber. Let's see, quin red. Make it a little kind of a more of a army green. In the real dark areas. That. Okay. A little bit of that dark again. I'm going to put a little umber in that. Just a bit, darken it a little bit. Kind of muddy it up. Okay. Maybe a little bit in there. Darken some of those areas. All right, let's dry it. All right, so where did I just put my brush? There it is. I think these need to be a little bit darker. And I'm thinking this quin color. And I'm going to go over most of the area with it. This is a very light coat. I think it needed it. This one a little bit more here. And in here. Yeah, that's better. Much better. Yep. I like it. All right, so we'll try that again. Hi, Kathy. Easy. These are my Gladiolus, my perennial Gladiolus that I have growing in my garden. So I'm going to use this eraser and erase any of the lines that I might see. Sometimes you can erase under the watercolor, depending on the type of eraser you have and the paint, the amount of paint. Kind of have to experiment a little bit. That's it. All right, so there it is so far. So I want to define those areas. So I'm going to take my pen out. So here's a 01 and a 03. So the real fine details I want. So in between the stamens, you don't want a really heavy line because they're very delicate looking. So just a little bit. And then we'll take some colored pencil and maybe just improve it a little bit. And let's see, I got some really dark lines in this spent one. So you can see the overlaps of the petals and wrinkles in there and all kinds of stuff. Dark areas. Depends how much do you want to sketch. You could put in where it overlaps a little bit just to show the petals. And on the bottom side of the stem where the shadow would be, that's what I like to do. Or where it overlaps an area. You kind of have to play with it to find out what type of line work you like, because there's so many out there, different styles. Here we go. And now let's do a little bit of, let's fix the centers of these. So I'm thinking a soft color. Peachy, I guess. Let's see. No, that's going to be too dark. Need fairly light. There's one. Might have to use a marker. Not bad. That. It'll do. Maybe some bright. I always like to add a little bit of colored pencil. It's just my thing. You don't have to do this. I really like it though. There is some veining, I guess you could say, in some of these. You see, you just have to follow the direction properly, that's all. And that one, you don't have to put it all in though. That one curves. That. That one looks like this. Brighter in there. And I'm going to get a Posca here and a pink. Or let's see if these would work. This color. Hey, Jasper. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it needed. Just to show off those stamens. some green. That. All right. Well, I think that's looking pretty good. A little bit of white for some highlight. It's not a lot, but a little bit right in here. Maybe a smidge there. It's almost a blue tinge to some of this too, but I think that's good. All right. Pencil mark there. So what do you think? Not bad. Just shade in some where the overlaps are a little bit. Just give it a little more definition. It's all in how much you want to put in it. If you want to put a whole lot of detail, you can go for it. I like detail myself. It's just what I like to do. Get in here. I think that looks good. This is really dark in here. That was kind of laying on the ground. That. There, I think that's it. So today today is the 23rd, and I have a dental appointment soon. So 8, 23, 22. And there's my hollyhock. So I did leave a in the beginning there, if you want to take a screenshot of that, I did a close-up. You can check that out if you want. But yeah, I like just find some stuff that you would like to draw. It doesn't have to be flowers, but just get your stuff out. Now I'm gonna probably write about this, that it's a perennial and it's a gladiola and that type of thing, all around the page here. Maybe I'll put some more what do you call it, swatches here to tell what colors I used. So you can do all kinds of stuff. This is your sketchbook. So you have the swatches for this one. More swatches. And I just use stencils. So we'll probably do that. And I'll post it on Instagram. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, it's Kathy Arbor also. So I'll let you guys go because I got to get ready and get things done before I go to my appointment. But we'll see you on... Kathy, are you doing the... No, I am not doing the zine swap. I just don't have enough time right now with gardening and everything. So maybe once the gardening season winds down a bit, if anyone has any swaps, I'll probably join. But yeah, get out, do some sketching and have some fun. Do it in a book that you're not too worried about. This is a sketchbook, so do it in something, even a composition book. The more you do, the better you'll get. All right, I'll let you guys go and have a fantastic day, everybody. See you on Thursday.